Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. Today is Wednesday, January 19th. You might be watching live with us. You might be watching as a replay. Whether you're watching live or as a replay, if you're here with us on Facebook, leave us a comment, and it'd be really fun. Let us know where you're tuning in from. There's people who tune in from all over the world, and it's always fun to see where people are tuning in from, especially because we've got a guest today who's from a different part of the world than I am, and most of our community here is, since we're US based. So let us know. Let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. We've got Louisiana and Iowa in the house. We've got where else? We've got Middle Tennessee. What's happening? We've got British Columbia. I think that's British Columbia. Texas, Guam, Houston. All right, sweet. So every single Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, we go live. These comments are coming in here live. You can watch on Facebook Live, and then the replays are made available on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and then also on YouTube. So you can find us pretty much anywhere. We're also on some other different podcast platforms too, but we bring on a new guest every single day, Monday through Friday, rain or shine. Doesn't matter if it's a holiday, doesn't matter. And today we've got an awesome guest, Michael, all the way from Germany. What's happening?
Hey, thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm pumped that you're here, and I'm excited to hear your story and a little bit of your journey. So you're over in Germany. You were doing full-time work as a restaurant manager and still are, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And what kind of food?
It's a little restaurant with a little bit of everything.
Cool. Love it. So this is your little side hustle. You are a husband, you're a dad, and tell us a little bit about, here's what I want to know. I want to know a little bit about how you found us, because it's a little more rare maybe that we have somebody who's from overseas, because so much of our reach is to a United States or Canada-based audience, North American audience. Mm-hmm. Tell us a bit about how you found us. Were you looking for us, or what was the deal?
The deal was, where's that? I pretty raised up to the average guy, work hard and get a good job, the good grades. And so I was living the last 10 years as worked in different hotels as waiter. Mm-hmm. And ironically, into end of 2019, I got the promotion to the restaurant manager. And a few months later, the first lockdown came here in Germany. So it was kind of hard to bring everything on with the money I was losing there, and to provide for my family.
Yep.
So when it was last May. Yeah, last May I scrolling TikTok like everyone, and came across Andrei's page, Andrei Demichev.
Yep.
And looking not especially there, but do some research the next month, and in August, September, I joined Legendary, and since then my journey takes off.
Cool. That's awesome. I love that. You just happened to find Andrei, like it just came across randomly?
Randomly. I didn't search anything like that, and it popped off, and got interested.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Yeah. This former restaurant manager, because he's also did you know about his restaurant? Okay.
Yeah. So now, yeah.
Yep. So it's just funny, right? I mean, think about how far away you guys are in the world, and your paths have literally never once crossed, thousands and thousands of miles away. And he uploads some little video into his phone, and somebody halfway across the world finds it and buys something because of his recommendation. It still is a little mind-boggling, but okay. So you find him,
Yeah.
and what was there something inspiring about his story, or what caught your attention?
The same background is, I think, was the little touch that inspired me to do it. And yeah, so why he could it and I'm not? That was the question I answered for me, and then go learn the things, and it will happen. Only stay consistent, and everything comes with time.
Sure, it's sort of like a if he can do it, why can't I kind of thing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, all right, this guy here, this Andre Cat, he can't be that talented that I
Ah,
can't do whatever he's doing. No, I feel the same way when I went to my first mastermind in 2011. I just looked around the room and it wasn't any. I wasn't trying to put anybody down, but I was like, really, like, oh, these guys aren't wearing capes, right? This isn't Superman or Batman or something. They're just normal human beings just like me. And that was a big takeaway for me. And I totally get that. I understand it in a very real way. So you came online then about August of last year. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. But I have a struggle in August, September to start and procrastinating more and more. But then I think what would happen, and I started through, stay consistent, doing my content, working on my copywriting. From day to day, you will improve, and that's the way to go. My opinion now.
Hmm. Yep. Cool. And so you come online, you start, well, I think, can you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you purchased our blueprints,
Yes.
started out there, started
Yeah.
creating content. So right now, Brienne just commented, procrastination is my jam. Um, so right now, at least, you're creating content on multiple different social platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest. Um,
Yes.
what of those have you enjoyed the most? Tell me just a bit about like your content creation process. How did you start, and what's that been like?
Yeah, at first I was like, no one will watch you and will think about it, laugh about it, or whatever. And now I have really fun to every day to make the simple 15 seconds or 10 seconds videos, and it's not work. It's fun to me to make the content ready,
Hmm.
and pretty simple to or not to outsource, but to post on different medias with a Snaptic app, and everything's going. So the videos got on multiple platforms.
Yep. Yeah. But what when you first started, was it easy? Was it hard?
Yeah, yeah. I my wife was the first commenter on every video, and yeah, but she gives me the she hold my back and pushed me more and more, and so I got the confidence to start through, and since then I never miss it. It's
Wow, that's
really
cool.
cool.
That's cool. We have like such an interesting mix of people who, for some people, they're like, "Oh man, I'm never gonna tell my spouse about this till I start making a little bit of money or until it starts working." And then there's other people who their spouse, like you just said, is kind of their biggest hero or their biggest supporter. It's like, "Hey, I've got you. You know, I'm the first commenter. Like, I'm gonna be here." That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really great to have. So you're working all of that content creation in, and then also doing a restaurant manager job. I don't know if
Yes.
that's the same here in the US, but in the US, a restaurant manager works a lot.
Yes, me too. Yeah, I shifted it a little bit because in the restaurant I work now, it's from 8 a.m. to 20 p.m. or
Okay.
8 p.m.
Yep.
And before that, before my children was born, I work in a hotel with night shifts and everything. So got in response for weddings, and
Nice.
this wasn't going to work for me as my two kids were born, and I want to have the time for them and for my
Yep.
wife. This was a kind of switch in my life,
Mm.
and then I luckily got in this restaurant where I can flexible do my times, but most of the time I'm there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So
Mm.
today I was there too from 6 to 3. Half an hour I'm at home now, and yeah, but
Nice.
that's the main goal. To
That's cool. And you're in afternoon, right?
yeah.
Yeah, currently. So what during the last couple years, really, we've had, at least for restaurant workers, it's been a really interesting, hard like year or two. But I feel like I had a brother-in-law stationed in the military in Germany
Yeah.
for a good portion of 2020. And it sounded like things were a bit more intense there in terms of lockdowns and stuff like that. And did that impact you, your restaurant? I'm guessing that had to have a huge impact on your restaurant. What
Yeah.
happened with that?
Yeah, we have in 2020 we have closed from March till July, and only I needed there we got only the work till little bit and only get meals to take off and
Hmm.
switch the model of the business a little bit to make a little bit of money.
Hmm.
Then the winter was kind of better, but after Christmas, the second lockdown came in Germany, and there was till
How long did
February.
that last?
February,
Okay, so about a month.
yeah, 2 months,
2 months.
January and February last year, and since then the summer was okay, but there as I said, I see the Andre's page, and yeah, want to provide better for my family, and that was a kind of thinking for me, yeah, to bring it on, and it was pretty hard with everything in the restaurant to manage and go on this track as well, but it worked. It worked. I'm happily it worked. It was sure a hard time, a few weeks, a month, and still days, sure, but it worked. I got I learned so much from the blueprints or from the 15-day challenge, for sure too. For the absolute beginner, I don't find anything in German or anything here what got the same value, and there was the switch for me to go this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. And it took a little while. I mean, a little while. Sometimes it takes people a long time, but it took you a little bit of time, from first content creation to, let's say making your first 1,000. You're talking August, September, October, November, December, almost 6 months.
Yeah.
To hit that kind of, it's like a milestone, I guess. And just so everybody who's on the show, like we're not making, wild, outrageous income claims. I'm just giving Michael's example. So I'm not saying that that's realistic or you should expect that. But in his case, it took a little while. And, I just wanted to say, kudos to you for keeping after it and going after it, because it's sort of like a little, the way it was described to me was like, sometimes with an online business, it's like, imagine a really huge dam, and there's a leak, and there's just water dripping out of one side, But over time, if that water just keeps, what's going to happen? It's going to start to stream,
Yeah.
and then it's going to eventually break through, right? And I thought that analogy was helpful for me, about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when I first heard that, because I was like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I am getting a lead here and there. Like, there is a drip. Something's right. I just haven't quite really broke through yet. So, that's really cool. And I think you're just getting started. I think the cool part about your story and journey and stuff is like, you're just scratching the surface of your potential too,
Yeah.
And sometimes people, they'll come on the show or they'll post in our groups or something. And, I've only got 20 leads, I've only made $100. I've only made $10, whatever. I've only made $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And everything is that we talk a lot about mechanics and dynamics, but everything is really the glasses that you put on, right? So how do you see that, right? If you see it through a lens of like, wow, I suck and I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or I'm still only here, you're going to feel that all the time, and it'll come through in your marketing too. But there's a totally different set of glasses you can put on. And sometimes Dave in trainings, he'll actually put sunglasses on. He's like, hey, I've got my marketing glasses on.
Yeah.
And you can see it through a lens of like, wow, think of all of the growth and potential that's ahead of me. Because really that's what humans are wired to feel most engaged, happy, alive, when we're constantly going after the next hurdle, after the next thing to overcome, right? So you got so much of that out in front of you, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's the point. Every video from you or Dave, stay consistent, and you will get there where you want. For example, this here is my next overcome. This is my first live ever. So
Cool.
yeah.
Hey, for everybody who's watching live with us, can you just give Michael a big hand, give some clapping emojis in the chat, all right?
Thank you very much. But this I learned in the last month. You have to overcome these steps to make a step forward. So
That's right.
you stay still in the same spot, and this isn't gonna last forever for me or
Yeah.
for everyone.
Right. Exactly. And I sort of feel like, going live might be a little bit of a trick or a hack that you can start doing more often on your TikTok, on your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
In fact, you can probably go live on multiple of them at once. I think one big hack for people with a little bit of a smaller following is, if you can get past the awkwardness of having only a couple people or 0 people on your live, grow an audience and then go live and really teach, like really bring some energy. I was on I just frequent random people's lives or affiliates lives and stuff. And, last night, this guy, Calvin Hill, I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
He was on a live last night, and he pulled out like 20 old phones, like really old phones, right? And pulled out, like, do you remember the old computer discs? Pulled out this old computer disc, and it said the storage on it was 2 megabytes. And he starts going through all of these phones and stuff, and then he just pulls out pulls out the iPhone, and he just says, look, all of the decades of innovation has been put into one single device. And this one single device is a device where you can begin to build a totally separate side income using just this device.
Yeah.
Right. And he's good at his lives because he's done them for so long now. He keeps doing them every night almost. And I think there's a little trick in that, in terms of really nurturing that audience, and people begin to really enjoy you. So I'm going to put out a challenge to you to try that live element, right? So you can even just go live once a week. I go live Monday nights, right? And I think what people underestimate about that, for instance, I think what people underestimate about that is the amount of engagement they can get and the bond you can build with your audience. But the other thing is on TikTok, you can use green screen as your background, right? Are you familiar with that? How to use green screen as a background behind you?
Yeah.
So like what I've been seeing work really well for a lot of people is they put a green screen behind. Well, you don't put a green screen. You only need a white background or something, but you use a green screen background and you put actually like a header above your head, right? Top 3 ways to make money in 2022, right? Top 3 dog training courses in 2022, right? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so then when people have they're scrolling, they get a boom, quick headline. I know what we're talking about. Ooh, that's interesting. I want to dive in, right?
Yeah.
And you want to know a really powerful secret is we see a lot of people who bump up their conversions a lot just by doing that. So there's my challenge to you this year.
Yeah, I will get it. Accept it.
I love it. I love it. Do you, because you're in Germany, I wanted to know if you have played around with posting at different times of the day.
Yeah, I tried it.
What have you learned about that? Give some advice, or just maybe not advice, but what have you learned? Because we have a lot of people in Europe and in the UK and Australia, all over the world, who are trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I tried to VPN to connect to other timestamps of the world, and tried different times here as well without a VPN, and come to notice that it doesn't really work better for me. On TikTok, for example, it's completely different, or not different to what time I post. It's most of the time I get always for my time 9 to 11 p.m. is my time on TikTok, and this doesn't change when I use a VPN or something. And that's the spot I aim for, to get the most traffic there, and that's not at all different on Instagram or Pinterest. That's the same way for me in that case.
Yeah, makes sense. Interesting. Yeah, because I feel like there's a lot of that's fascinating. Because I just have such a wide range. It's interesting being from my perspective on that, because I have such a wide range of people who email me every day, and a lot of people are talking about that, or people post in the groups. And there's just such a wide range of results. Like sometimes the VPN works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the SIM card works, sometimes it doesn't. But I do find one thing that seems to be a commonality across many different people and countries is finding a good time to post and staying consistent with that.
Yeah, that was my thinking as well, and I can't change the algorithm or something, so I do what's best for me, or what's working best for me. So what I can change, work on, and
Yeah, totally. And what's one other little thing? I've had this conversation with people from the UK. I think I've had this conversation with people from the Netherlands too. Is they're always asking, well, how do I tap into the American audience? And the first thing that I say is, well, what's wrong with your audience, right? What's wrong with the audience? Like probably the best thing that you could do is to tap into, for instance, you being in Germany, right? It might take a little bit more time for the people who are on your email list to buy. It might take a little bit more time for them to be open to the idea, because maybe it's just not as common there to learn this and to purchase education this way, right? So there might be a little bit more of a warming up period. But once people are warmed up to the idea, I don't think there's a huge difference between, say, a buyer in Germany and a buyer here in the US. I really don't. And I think that there's less, in the world of like stocks or investments, they would say there's less market cap there, meaning there's just less capital going around in the marketplace, and the market for it is smaller. But I think there's also less competition. And I think that there's very little competition in your geographical area. So the fact that maybe TikTok is more likely to show your stuff there in Europe than they are here. I don't know. I get that there's less people available, and it might be in some way beneficial to tap into 300 million people in the US. But also, just think about the sheer amount of affiliate marketers, content creators here in the US too. It's a different ballgame.
But for people who messaged me, the biggest barrier is the language for them. They don't feel so secret, so with English, and didn't look through it to get the value out of it, and or to learn. It's a skill you learn on the way, and my English isn't perfect as well, but I understand everything and try to keep it up. So working on your skills is something I would suggest to everyone. This day after day, try to improve in certain of your skills, and push them. You will get there where you want if you do this consistent.
Yep, totally. I love that. And it's funny because when we talk about building your skills online, I don't really think of like English as a, like the language skill, but it's so true.
Yeah, for here in Germany, okay, English is common sense for us, but there are many out there, especially the older generations, which I talk to, that are not so familiar with it. And this is the aspect where they get a step back instead of a step forward into this challenge.
Yep, makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So with where you're at now, you're still you're still building your content creation platforms. I mean, you're still creating content on TikTok, on Instagram, on Pinterest. What do you feel like, if for somebody who's newer to content creation, what do you feel like what bit of advice would you give to those people? I'll let you have the last word to our community. People who are just getting started creating content, they're nervous. I think you can remember back 6 months ago when you were like about to hit post. What advice would you give to those people?
Don't be afraid to fail. Fail is so a good teacher to you, and you will make your own experience out of it. This working, this is not working, and so you got your way out of it, and it's completely no thanks to everyone who's thinking your content is bad or is laughing, or step this aside. You do your thing, and that's the point I want to suggest to everyone. Only start. You will make it. It's time. The way is to improve, and that's the goal.
I love it. Well, very cool, Michael. I'm glad that we got to meet today. Thanks for taking time out of your day. You've got a lot of things going on, man. And thanks for taking time to hang out with us.
Every day.
Love it. It's awesome. Yeah. All right, I'm going to put up your Instagram so people can go and give you a follow and connect with you. And have a good rest of your day, and have a good evening.
Yeah, for you too, everybody.
Thanks so much. All right, guys. So his Instagram is down below. For those of you listening and not watching, it's michael.van. Oh, I didn't ask him how to pronounce this, but I'm going to say Lieshout or Lieshout. We're going to get close enough. Lieshout. I took German in high school too, and I lost it all. So anyway, michael.van.lieshout, Lieshout, and then maybe he can make a funny Instagram video making fun of me butchering his last name. So everybody go give him a follow. The whole point of us putting up people's social profiles is that you guys can go and follow and connect and let him know, hey, here's what was most valuable to me today. Here's what I found most impactful. And you can also find him on TikTok. It's the same exact handle, just that there's no dots in it. So it's his first and last name with no dots in it. You can find him on TikTok as well. We're going to be back here, same time, same place as always tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'll be here again. And then on Friday, Dave will be hosting again as usual. So 10 a.m. Eastern, tune in. See you guys later. Peace out. Have a good rest of your Wednesday.